when I go to a center, I go to every classroom. And this one little kid that was in the classroom one day, and I asked him, I said, what's wrong with him? He doesn't talk. I said, what do you mean he doesn't talk? So every morning I would go by and we would touch thumbs every day.
Oh.
And if I was late, he would be at the door waiting and we'd touch thumbs. And what was a killing point of that is during graduation, he never talked in class. He just muttered, But the killing point for me was when he walked across the stage of graduation, he called out my name.
Oh.
From that point on, we got to get these fathers involved in their children's lives.
Hi, thanks for joining me in this edition of Sound Beginnings, where I had the privilege of speaking with three gentlemen at the South Carolina Head Start Association sponsored conference on fatherhood and male engagement. When you see me again, I will be interviewing Mr. Jerome Thompson, who is the director and the founder of the conference, and followed by Dr. Keith Bailey, who is the executive director of the Pee Dee School for Science, Technology, and Math in Bishopville, South Carolina, and he was also the keynote speaker, followed by Dr. Jawan Burwell, who is the executive director of the North Carolina A&T Children's Lab School, and he's also an author and was a presenter at the conference. I hope you enjoy these conversations as much as I did.
Mr. Jerome Thompson, thank you so much for agreeing to answer my questions today. Kindermusik has been coming to this conference for multiple years, and I think it's important to get your story out about this conference, your mission, how it started, and if you would just share some of that with us today, I would like to get that message out into the world.
Okay, first I would like to say thank you for Kindermusik. You all have been a big part of our conference for the last 4 or 5 years. And we just want to thank you all for being here because the music that you provide to these fathers helps them with their process when they're dealing with their children on a day-to-day basis. As you all have instructed us is that you can learn by music real easy, and song and play is something that makes the whole world go round.
That's right. Well, it's been fun. And the dads that we've met have been amazing, and it's also been so great to meet people from other programs, and they're actually not only from South Carolina,
that's correct,
from around the country. So take us all the way back to how this started.
The conference came about, the National Fatherhood Initiative had a grant out, and I said, I want to put all these teams together, all the Head Start programs, father coordinators in South Carolina. We want to bring them together under one roof, and we can train under one roof. We can train the same information, so we got the same information going across the state. It bloomed into something that I did not imagine, and once it bloomed, let's do a conference. Our first conference was in Columbia, South Carolina in 2009. It was just South Carolina. And I said, guys, let's open this up to other states. We've got 14 states represented from all across the country.
Wow.
So we're happy that the initiative, it's not an initiative anymore. I was in San Diego and I told them this is a movement.
What's your story? You're passionate about this and you've been driving this movement for father engagement, male engagement. How did that become a passion of yours?
Well, I'm an engineer by trade.
Okay.
So I'm from the corporate world, and I was asked to come to Head Start to be over the transportation. And I said, I don't know nothing about kids. And she kept asking me, come. So I actually came and I participated in the program. She said, we got a men's program going on. I know you're a Boy Scout, I know you're an Eagle Scout, so I know you can deal with these men. But what really got me to be involved in the classroom is that when I go to a center, I go to every classroom. And this one little kid that was in the classroom one day, and I asked him, I said, what's wrong with him? He doesn't talk. I said, what do you mean he doesn't talk? So every morning I would go by and we would touch thumbs every day.
Oh.
And if I was late, he would be at the door waiting and we'd touch thumbs. And what was a killing point of that is during graduation, he never talked in class. He just muttered, But the killing point for me was when he walked across the stage of graduation, he called out my name.
Oh.
From that point on, we got to get these fathers involved in their children's lives. Mm-hmm. So as men were coming in, I would have a conversation. You know what you want for your child, right? Yes. Do you know what your child wants from you?
Oh, that's a good question.
Find out what your children expect from you. I was in a workshop one day doing a training, and I posed that to parents. One lady got on the phone and she called her son. She says, I got to ask you a question. What did you expect out of me as a mother? She said, why are you asking me that 21 years later? Guess what he said? Why you didn't ask me that when I was a child?
Oh,
And
right.
she said, I really didn't know. So I like for parents to understand what those children expect out of you.
So, and your conference attendees here are learning some joyful strategies to take home to either share with the families they work with or with the children themselves. I know there's a workshop on fathers doing their daughter's hair.
Yes.
Right? Tell me a little bit more about that. You talked to us about that in Atlanta.
So one night I was at the gas station, and I saw the kids transition from mom. And I work in the Head Start, so I know that the dads may have the kids on the weekend, mom may have them for the whole week. And it really didn't dawn onto me until I was at the gas station, and I saw the transition from one car to the other. For some reason, I was at the Head Start classroom that morning, just visiting, and one little girl says, "You was with your daddy this weekend?" And she said, And she said, "Yes, she was, because he don't know how to do your hair." And what hit me is that at our next conference, we're going to show these guys how to do hair. And that has been a very successful workshop, because we got guys now who are sole caretakers of the children.
Right.
We have more fathers now that are caretakers for their children than ever before. But we want to make sure that these dads have the tools, not only to deal with their little girls, but we got some other workshop, fathers who have kids with special needs.
Yep.
Taking care of a child is difficult, especially on your own if you have not been trained. Now we're in a learning mode with our young parents now. So
Right.
we're hoping that through this workshop and through this training, that we can provide the tools for those dads, and moms, we have some moms here too, to be able to take care of those early years for those children.
Yeah. It's, we talk about this at Kindermusik. One of the things you're providing and creating is a community of people who are learning together, right? And when you say years ago we had that, but now we see, for example, parents don't know nursery rhymes or like the traditional songs to sing. And that's why it's so important to have events like this to be able to share experiences where in the past you might have learned that in your faith-based community or you lived closer to your family and you would have learned that from your mom or your grandmom or whatever. But we have so many families that we see that are separated from people who would have passed those things on. And so the role that events like this play and that Head Start plays, I think, are so important for these young families to get the support that they need and information.
How about that story of touching thumbs? I love the example that sets for, gosh, what a small little gesture consistently would do for a child. And it also just reinforces that it only takes one caring adult to make a difference in a child's life. Next, I'll be speaking with Dr. Keith Bailey, who's the Executive Director of the Math, Science, and Technology Academy in Bishopville, South Carolina, and was also the keynote at the conference.
Thanks for agreeing to sit down and talk with me for a few minutes. I loved your presentation yesterday at the luncheon and your story about the Lion King, and we also enjoyed meeting some of your young scholars that you brought. So just for the record, tell us who you are and where you're from and how you got involved in the Fatherhood Conference.
Sure. So I'm Dr. Bailey, and I'm the head of school at Pee Dee Math, Science, and Technology Academy in Bishopville, South Carolina. And we are a charter school, K through 12, and we started in 2013. We came to this conference, we were invited to share our story, and I brought with me 12 scholars from middle and high school, and We had a great time yesterday. So
Some of them came to our session. They were lovely.
yeah, but I think that was their first session.
Oh, yeah?
So they talked.
Well, it's how you could tell some of them were like, I don't know about singing like I'm 3 years old, but some of them were like, oh yeah, I'm getting it in. Yeah, they were fun. Your story about Simba, you want to share that maybe a little bit? That was so powerful to hear that yesterday.
I talked about yesterday Simba because Simba represents many of our students that they have experienced trauma. And one of the things we've learned at the school that trauma impacts everything from how students behave, how they learn, how they connect. And I thought about the story of Simba, how he felt that he was the cause of his dad's death. And then you had the negative conversation from his uncle Scar, who actually enforced that negative idea. So I was talking about our social circles and how we have to protect that. And then he went on this journey of aimless life and just Hakuna Matata.
Right,
and
right.
no responsibilities.
Right.
Until he came to an age to say, you know what am I doing? And I can't remember the character that said you have to look inside yourself, and had him to look in the pond, and he saw his dad in himself.
Right.
And he began to wrestle with, who am I?
Right.
And that's what we are assigned to do as educators, is to help students know who they are and to help them craft and develop that language. And so he had to then recognize that he could not live an aimless life, that he had purpose, he had identity, he had meaning. And so when he went back to take charge and to accept his responsibility, howbeit it was difficult, that's when he started to step into his higher self.
Yeah.
Yeah. Generation Z, they have so much coming at them, so much that's negative. And the research tells us that 70% of our thoughts are negative. And 95% of our thoughts that we thought today, they're the same as the day before.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I remember thinking, ooh, I need to find that research he was talking about.
Yes.
Well, because you said there's research that has come out about the negative thinking.
Absolutely. Neuroscience and education, they're starting to marry, because we know now in education, where it used to be, we talked about being Generation X. In our day, we thought that there were the smart kids and the not so smart kids. And they had classes of individuals within the school setting where they divided students based on their cognitive abilities.
Right.
But now we know through research that you can literally grow the brain. You can improve intelligence. And that comes by way of how you train, how you're thinking, even with your company, Kindermusik, how you use music, you use sound, you use certain repetitions, you begin to change our thoughts. Negative thoughts can literally implode our neurons. The chemistry around thoughts, because as you know, when we're thinking, those are electrical impulses, it's chemistry that's happening inside your body. So it's not just a thought that comes out of the air, there's things happening in you.
Sure.
So if you're constantly thinking negative, this is where mental illness, mental disease, all of those things are happening because we're constantly seeing negative things. I call it the digital divide. It's dividing you, it's distracting you, all of those things. And so we have to be intentional in education about how we protect the eye gate, the ear gate, what's going inside of our bodies. Neuroscience is so awesome that it helps us to see that what you don't know, you can repair. What fires together, wires together.
Thanks for letting me pull you in and ask you some questions.
I've enjoyed this.
Thanks so much.
And thank you for your passion as well for education and for what you all are doing with Kindermusik. I think that's so important, and I'm looking forward to bringing that at our school.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, me too.
What a great reminder that what fires together, wires together. I know that I am going to be paying even more attention to protecting my eye gate and ear gate from negativity, because I want more positivity firing and wiring in my brain. I'm so grateful for people like Dr. Bailey sharing that message with not only the scholars that he oversees at his academy, but with other people who are interested in improving the lives of young children. Next, I'll be speaking with Dr. Jawan Burwell, the Executive Director of the North Carolina A&T Lab School on their campus. He's also an accomplished author, speaker, presenter, and consultant.
Dr. Jawan Burwell.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for coming right after your presentation to sit down and talk with us. And I've got your two books here, Daddy's Classroom, A Journey of Learning Together, and Engaging Fathers, Strategies for Inclusive Family Partnerships in Early Childhood. And I know that family and fatherhood is a passion of yours and has been your body of work and your study, and you also bring that into your role as a child development center director. Talk to us first. What did you just present on at the Fatherhood Conference?
So I just presented on this actual book, Engaging Fathers, and we were talking about the strategies of how we can get fathers and males more engaged in early childhood spaces, because we know there is a lack of fathers engaging in our programs now. And so what I wanted to do is just, spark a movement of how we can get fathers and males more engaged in our programs.
What do you think is the biggest barrier? What's the hump we have to get over to get dads to be more engaged?
Yes, so I think the biggest one is we have to be intentional in our practice. When we're planning programs, when we're doing events, a lot of our fathers, most of the time, they're known to be the providers of the family, so they're having to work all the time. Mm-hmm. And of course, most of them working third shift, they sleep throughout the day.
Right.
And so what we're having to do is shift our mindset and shift our programming to where it's more intentional for them. So sometimes we may have to do programs on the weekend, or maybe we can do it virtually, because now we're turning into a world of technology where fathers can engage over, FaceTime or Zoom or anything like that, just to be more involved. But I think that's the biggest barrier that, fathers are facing now, is they just don't have the time, nor, they have the access to get to where they need to go.
What are the things that are drawing them in? Because you could do it at the right time, but still, what are some of the things that you're doing that you're seeing really good turnout?
Yeah, they love to engage when in the classroom when we're talking about community helpers. So that's talking about the jobs that they do. So we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have teachers, firefighters, policemen. So of course they're working all day. That's one of the barriers. What better way to come in and talk to the children about the work that you do every single day? Right. So being intentional about that. They also love field trips as well. So being able to support those special events that the children do as well. And then what I also find is that fathers really, really enjoy being the go-to person first, because a lot of times our programs are reaching out to moms first, but aren't really reaching out to dad. So what I've tasked myself with is, let's reach out to the dad first. Let's see what we can do. Let's get their input on different things, just to see how they'll be more engaged. And when I do that, that's when they show up.
So what does that look like when you're reaching out to them? Is that during pickup time, or how do you reach out to them?
Yeah, so I'm an over-communicator. So I over-communicate with all of my families, but since I have such a strong passion for my fathers and the males that engage in our programs, I'm very intentional with them. So those that do pick up, whether there's dropping off or picking up, I'll talk to them then, or I'll email them directly. But everything is just self-centered and intentional when it comes to our fathers. For example, we also do a field day for Week of the Young Child as well. Mm-hmm. What we typically like to do is center it strictly around the fathers. So we call it a Father's Field Day, where the fathers come and they engage with their children, and it's just them. And it just promotes how fathers can engage and be comfortable in that space with other fathers as well.
Okay, so your books, if somebody was interested in investing in your books, which are beautiful, where would they learn more about those?
Yes, both books are on Amazon. Daddy's Classroom is also on Barnes & Noble as well as Walmart.com. Both books are great. You should check them out.
And who are the audiences for these?
Yes, so the audiences for Daddy's Classroom is more so for our educators, it's for our dads, anyone working with young children, because representation does matter. And what we want is just to be able to promote how fathers can engage in early childhood programs. And it is specifically geared towards fathers, teachers, children. Those are the audiences that we're looking for. For the strategies books, those are more for our practitioners that are out in the field that are looking to gain strategies on how they can get fathers engaged in their programs.
Okay. What else do you want to share? Anything?
That Kindermusik is the best. We have Kindermusik in our program as well, and the children absolutely adore it. They enjoy it. Our families are engaged with it as well. So if you don't have Kindermusik in your program, you might want to get it.
Yes, Dr. Burwell, representation does matter, and we're so happy to see your books out in the world. And thanks for the plug about Kindermusik. We hope you enjoyed these conversations with these lovely gentlemen. And if you would like to learn more about either the South Carolina Head Start Association Conference, which will be held again next spring, we will put that link in the show notes, as well as the upcoming conference on the West Coast for fatherhood and male engagement in San Diego. Thanks for listening.
What else? What else would you like people to know?
I'd like them to know about this conference.
Okay.
This is the only grassroots conference in the country. And I say that because I've gone to other conferences where there is just abundance of commercialization. Mm-hmm. There's no commercialization here. Mm-mm. This is all informational. Yep. This is all family.
Yes.
Yeah, so all of our presenters, all of our vendors here, they're here to help our fathers and our participants understand the things that they need for the challenges moving forward. Everything here is to help fathers and families go to another level. So there's nobody offer what we offer.
Yeah.
Nobody offer what we offer.
I appreciate you taking time out of your busy conference. You're running this whole show and spending time talking to us about the history, and you're passionate about it. And thanks for inviting us to be here. We love being here and having some musical experiences with people. But thanks for everything that you do.
Thank you,
it's
guys.
Important.
Thank you all for being a part of us. Kindermusik will always be a part of this conference.
Okay.
Okay.
I like Kindermusik.